G'day Just Your Average Fishers fans, it's Justin here from the Just Your Average Fishers Facebook and Instagram page, coming at you not so live but recorded from the home of fishing, Mitcham Angling Club, for another Tech Tackle episode, and this one is the granddaddy. This one is so close to my heart because we are talking about the very fish species and the tackle around gummy sharks, which for me is where Just Your Average Fishers all started.
But it's not just gummy sharks.
No, we're talking... How are you chiming in?
Well, because I don't have to be introduced, I'm here.
You're here. This is the Baron, everyone. Ben, who is one of the most fantastic fishermen, a personal friend of mine, who is behind the scenes of Just Your Average Fishers. Thanks for joining again.
Thank you, because I am an average fisher.
You're far from an average fisher.
Very average. Consistently average.
Well, I think that's our motto, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it is more than gummy sharks, but we're going to start with gummy sharks.
Okay.
It's so close to my heart. I honed my fishing on gummy sharks.
It's a Victorian thing.
It's a Victorian thing.
I moved to Victoria and they're like, we're chasing sharks. I'm like, you mean you don't try and get away from them? And they're like, no, we try and catch them.
We catch them
and
to
eat them.
There wasn't a Friday night that most young Victorian kids wouldn't have grown up having fish and chips and a bit of flake from the fish and chip
Yeah,
shop.
because if in New South Wales or Queensland you had flake,
Yep.
it didn't need to be school shark or gummy shark. You're probably eating...
Black tip reef shark.
Well, it was usually shovel nose shark, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
Shovel nose or bronze whalers or something equally as big and mercury filled.
Yep. Now, in fine Tech Tackle episode tradition, we're going to talk about the tackle that we use, namely the rods and reels, and how we set them up. You sort of do this full circle as a fisher, where you start off buying average gear, then you turn into maybe buying top end gear, you might not.
Maybe.
And then you, or mid-range gear.
Yeah, I just kind of, I do little circles.
You do little circles, I might do a bit of a bigger one. But the tackle journey for me, for gummy sharks, you know, I was fishing for gummy sharks as a kid with mum and dad out in Port Phillip Bay, and then ended up owning a boat with my brother-in-law, and we did gummy sharks together. And back in those days, it was, if you want to learn to fish gummy sharks, go buy Brendan Wing's Great Grey Submarines DVD and learn how to fish gummy sharks in current. And the number one fishing combo that we would use was a Shimano T-curve offshore mid-spin 10 to 15 kilo. I think it was a 7'6" rod.
Yep.
It was beautiful. All the charter guys, I think Fruits, who's,
He still runs
them.
With the twin powers.
Yep. And I think that he's got twin powers, which is a really nice reel for those. We were using Spheros 14,000s with 30-pound mono line straight through to a 60-pound leader. Now, things have advanced.
They have, but there's one that's pretty close to that sitting behind me.
Yeah, so you've got something that's a little bit different than me. I'm a little bit more upmarket for, so let's shortcut the story. Shimano obviously updated the rods. Those rods left the range years and years ago. But everything ultimately gets updated, right? They were quite a wide-handled blank. Things are getting smaller, lighter, stronger. And we needed to find a replacement. And Anthony, who's a good friend of ours, needed to, he was really big on, I need to go buy some gummy rods, what I go for. And there was graphite ones that went ping, and then there was ones that didn't. And we settled on something. And you and I fish a little differently, so let's get straight into it. So these have featured oodles of times in my reports on Just Your Average Fishers. You and I have fished with these together many, many times. In all my years and in all the rods that I've owned of this style, and I've handed a few to other people just because they get like a bit scratched up and I don't like the look of them, but I've only broken the tip off one, and that was the first time that Anthony and I went fishing for school tuna offshore.
Yep.
And we were in terrible, terrible conditions, and Anthony was helping me get a tuna into the boat. It was like middle 20 kilos, and I had not opened the bail arm because I was holding onto the side, about to lose my life overboard in the swell, and the weight of the fish fell on the rod. So it's not the fault of the rod at all. It was actually the fault of us.
Most broken rods aren't the fault of the rod.
No, not absolutely. It's user error generally. And having worked in a tackle shop before, 100%. They say it's the fault of the rod. No.
Yeah.
We oblige.
My rod broke into 3 pieces and I'm not quite sure how.
Mind you, you've seen video of me in Western Port at a gummy spot that we love to fish, and I've had like 100+ kilo wobbegong on this thing, high sticked, full drag to the bejesus.
Bring it around this side, and we just want to see. No,
we're not doing that.
We're just doing this. I think you can high stick and give more abuse to this one than this one.
Yeah. Now there's a reason for that, I think. because not only is the graphite technology, the blank, gone up so much in years of technological improvement, these have the Shimano X-Wrap right through the whole blank. So it is a Shimano sort of carbon sleeve, which adds an incredible amount of power, but also still allows the rod to bend and be flexible. But let's talk about it, because we haven't actually said the model. So this is a Shimano Terez 72M.
Yep.
This is a current model. Shimano, you know I love you. You know I love Shimano stuff. I'll buy it forever and a day. Do not change this rod. If you change this rod, I will be deeply saddened and forever begrudge you.
There won't be enough tissues in the world for the amount of tears that's going to happen.
Well, we've got quite a lot of following, and I don't want to say anything, but there will be tears, and they won't be mine. Or they will be mine initially, but they won't be mine. So, look, it's a fantastic rod. 7'2", one piece, 20 to 50 pound rod. So it sounds like it could be a broomstick,
right.
but it's not. It is so thin, it bends. You know, I had that wobby gong like up here with a bow tied in the end.
20 to 50 pound is 9 to 21 or 22 kilos.
Sounds an awful lot, but these punch way above their weight. It's got the rubber butt end with the little groove, so it sits in rod holders nice, or you could use it in a little gimbal belt. And we match this with the ever crazy and beautiful Shimano Saragosa 10,000 with 50 pound 8-strand braid.
Yep.
And that's now Kairiki braid, to a double rod length 60 pound shock leader.
Look at your long leader. Mine's about a metre.
Yep.
I think because that's what's left.
Yeah, so a lot of people say that you've got to have the FG knot through this to cast. This is not a casting rod. We're only just swinging, 8-ounce sinkers, or if we're fishing big Western Port tides, maybe a 20-ounce sinker. This will handle it without a worry. You do not need to worry about breaking this rod. If you break this rod, it's the stupidity of the angler, right? And we're all average, but these are unstoppable. Now, why do I like them? Okay, so not only can you high stick them, not only can you treat them like rubbish, this rod catches gummies, Western Port snapper for deep water fishing, offshore school tuna. We've had 60 to 80 kilo bronze whalers on this. Kingfish, I've caught 10 kilo kingfish with Gwayne Blake with this rod. You name it, you can fish it, all right? So that means multi-purposing rods, so you can get multi-combos to fish multiple fish species. Can't go wrong. You are fishing with something different though.
Correct.
Shimano still, but of the older generation.
It is. It comes back to what I feel more comfortable fishing. What I don't feel comfortable about is the length of line after that knot. So I must have been in a hurry. Hold on, I'm going to cut that off.
We're getting the ocean accessories in here. Thanks, Zoran.
I'll just put those in my pocket.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
you can have that pair. I'll let you.
So, I know graphite rods have a place. For me, though, I prefer the feel of a fiberglass rod with larger fish, with larger head shakes.
Yep.
It's purely a comfortability thing.
Yep.
When I moved to Melbourne 10 years ago, one of the first rods I bought after seeing, you must buy the T-Curve, I went and bought Revolution Offshore Series. I bought 2 of them.
Yep.
I still have 2 of them.
Yep.
Might have different tip eyelets.
Okay.
I didn't snap any off.
Yep.
The glue just came off. And I bought 2 for a couple of $100 from Ray and Ann's in South Australia, because it was the only place that had any Revolution Offshore Series left. But these are the 8 to 12s.
Okay.
Still enjoy it. Can't buy them anymore.
Yep.
But I needed more.
Yep.
So I kind of have 2 outfits. I know you've got the same one.
Yes, so this was upon recommendation of myself, not for the reel, but for the rod. So I can talk to this a bit. So tell us a little bit about it.
The reason that I like them is the way that they load up is different. I prefer to have something that's super soft in the tip, but loads up about 1/3 of the way down the blank, which fiberglass tends to do better than graphite. Okay. Graphite will load evenly more through the whole arc, and when you'll get your power about halfway down. For me, I want that power to start a little bit higher. Personal preference, might be right, might be wrong. I don't think it really matters.
These are a brilliant rod. And so for those that are watching, this is a Shimano Crowbar. So it is not a regular Shimano lined product. This is exclusively made for Complete Angler, Ringwood and Dandenong. And actually the former owner of Complete Angler Ringwood, Ian Loft, designed this rod, is my understanding, decades ago. And I mean, like, I'm talking 20 years ago.
Yep.
And it is still the identical rod that was made back then, bar one thing. They have now gone to the more higher spec fiberglass, which is called E-glass, and they also run a wire through the center of the tip to give it more strength. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you were saying that, you know, you like your multi-purpose. For me, this is my multi-purpose.
Yep.
So all of the stuff down here, tuna, kings, gummies, western port snapper, and then up the north coast, we were catching pearlies to 4 kilos on these 4 days ago.
Now, I have to say, you've also got this set up as an overhead, and people will be going, well, it's an overhead. I use egg beater, I use spin reels. This is actually was designed by Ian to be ambidextrous, or a little bit of a hybrid. So it's both set up with the way how the guides are spaced to be overhead and spin.
Which shouldn't be possible, because every blank has a backbone.
That's
Smarter
right.
people than me pick which way the backbone goes and say, okay, here, the eyelets need to be in this direction. But somehow
It works.
it works, and it works really well.
So I think, do you have some of these set up as spin?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. We fished together with them.
I did.
Oh, right.
Now I've got 2
Little
Speedmasters.
Yep.
Probably should be a 12.
Yep. They're 10s.
They're 10s.
Yep.
Handled some fish. 15 kilo dolly gave me a bit of a hiding, but it works really well, and works really well for mackerel trolling and those type of things up the coast.
Okay, so as an overhead or a spin, what's your braid and leader combos? So you've got an FG knot there.
It's the same.
Same.
50 pound braid,
Yep.
80 pound, 60 or 80 pound leader.
Yep. Yep.
It doesn't need to be that heavy, but
Yep.
I find with overhead, 30 pound braid is too easy to slice your thumbs.
Yeah.
And you've got to guide it on when it's this wide.
Yep.
The only reels that have level winds,
The old Charter Special.
You don't really want to use them with braid.
And
So-
look, there are the bunch of fishos that still, I think my brother-in-law is one of them, that love fishing with overhead.
if you are running in a free spool scenario that you are trying to keep contact with the bottom and you're drifting, overheads every day of the week.
So-
for how we fish in Victoria, it's not really necessary.
Yep, because we're bait danglers, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's in gear in the rod holder.
Yep. Yeah, it is a different fishing sort of up north. What's a snapper rack?
Yep.
They wouldn't even know. You know, your soft plastics fishing, your jigging and all that sort of stuff, those reefies. But so this is really good on the reef species as well.
Yep.
Yep. And you can cast big sinkers off the end of this, no problems.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. Now, these are actually...
Your thumb cops are hiding.
It does. So I think these probably retail around that $160 mark at any complete angler special. You'll easily get 20% off that. So wait for that. Every 3 months they're running a sale, and Dandenong and Ringwood, I'm pretty sure, have these. If they are,
There's two different types though.
Now there's 2 weights. That's exactly right.
This one is the heavier one. This is the 8 to 12.
That's right.
Which, funnily enough, is the same weight as this.
Yep. Do they handle the same? They handle similar?
Similar. This one folds away quicker.
Yep.
So the crowbar's got a lighter tip.
Yep.
But it's also slightly longer, so I'm not surprised.
Now, because it's exclusive to Complete Angler, they need to buy an absolute truckload of these when they get made, but there's only once a year that they can actually purchase them. So,
okay.
So once they're sold out for a long time.
Can you tell me when they're going back on sale? Because I need another 2.
George, Chris, we need to speak with you.
Because Dad got one of these and he's like,
He loves it.
I want one of those.
Right. All right. Well,
That's where my other one is at the moment. Actually, it's with Dad because
we'll hook
he
him
wouldn't
up.
let me take it back.
We'll hook him up. I'm sure the boys at Shimano or Complete Angler will help us out. I must say I'm really fond of this rod. If when I was actually doing some work down at Complete Angler Ringwood, if someone said, I can't break the bank and I need a spin setup or an overhead setup that will do gummies, Western Port Snap or whatever, this is where I went to. Yeah. And it sold more often than not because it was just such a good comment. Now this, you are stepping up into not super high end with a Terez 72M, but you're probably that retail mark just under $400 just for the rod. Again, you can get them on special from all good tackle stores, of course. And Saragosa 10,000s, like when they're on sale, buy them, keep them under your bed, keep them spare.
How good is the drag sound on the new ones?
Well, you actually told me it's too loud to start
It is
with.
loud.
It is loud, but it's good.
But I've gotten used to it now.
Well, you're older, your hearing's going. So
is that what,
that's probably
so
what it is.
it's a target audience.
It's a target audience. But look, they...
Are ready? Just hold on. Was it near?
Yeah, it's a great sound. Generally means something good's happening.
Wind it with your left hand.
Yeah, well, that's the proper side, mate. But anyway, They did do some great improvements to this, so they added some slots for drag and spool cooling.
Oh, is that what they're for?
They pumped it up they went the nice clicker drag system that went onto some of their more higher end reels. They also went to the fixed one-piece handle. The older series had the two-piece, and if you didn't wash them right, sometimes over time the pin could bust and you'd bust a handle. Shimano would always warranty it. There was like, you can't get a better brand for backing up their service. Reels always have 10-year warranty on them. Take them back and they'll sort them out. Parts galore. You know, the one thing that you need to be careful if you use these reels a lot is they can get noisy in the line bearing. You know, Shimano can do the servicing, or Darren Kemp from Daz's Reel Servicing.
I sent him a 25,000 Saragosa that was not only dead, I think it had been buried.
You sent them CI4s that were...
Oh no, they weren't as bad as the Saragosa.
The Saragosa was
after coming back from
terrible.
overseas, it was bad. No, but it's actually right, the CI4s were bad.
Yeah, they were bad. They were your like whiting ones that you'd used for years.
Yeah.
And he brought them back from the brink.
He did. And I got them back and I'm like, oh, why are they so tough? And he's like, give it a day. Give it a day.
Put a fair bit of grease in there because he knew how well you're going to do it. But I think that, look, gummy rods, very passionate to me, but tuna, school sharks, kingfish, you're fishing for dollies, pearlies, other reef species and stuff like that. Kings.
It's
and
basically,
binkings up north. Yep.
Well, yeah, I may have almost been disowned by my dad from a knot that failed the other day. Sorry, Dad. But it's having a multi-purpose rod that's so important. Money's tight. If you can buy one thing, buy it well, and it does multi-use. One, it means you only have to hide it going past the missus once when it comes back into the shed. And it's there for life. Well, not for life, sorry. It'd be there for a while.
A long time. I've high sticked those Terezes. You can't break them. We've had them on big fish. You and I, you know, we've caught my biggest ever gummy that went over 30 kilos together. Good things tend to happen when we fish together. I've been with Anthony. Anthony has a full set of these in the exact same combo setup, and he actually is a better fisherman than me because he will never high stick either, where I'll just launch into the thing and scull drag it back to the boat. But you know, we've had big sharks on, makos and all that sort of stuff, and they just handle everything. But the crowbars, can't speak more highly of.
You know what the biggest test for them is?
Go.
Skates.
Oh,
those car bonnets in tide.
We've had our fair share of those. The old dreaded eagle ray or the shovel nose thing.
I'll take an eagle ray because at least it's a bit of fun. A skate just sits up there, points its nose at you and goes,
into current, and I'm 10 metres below the boat.
And I'm just going to do the slow marlin shake.
What is it with Port Jacksons behaving like gummies now?
I don't know, they've been in training.
And they're growing. They are behaving like gummies with the way they bite. They give you an initial run and they're growing bigger every day.
I know, but if you're catching those,
you're in the right area. Yeah, absolutely in the right area.
But sometimes, like Port Phillip, I've got a mark in Port Phillip that's called the Jacksons now because I went Mrs. Jackson, Mr. Jackson, all of the Jackson 5,
Jackson.
all of the aunties and uncles.
Brett Reed from Reedy's Rigs said that in Port Phillip Bay, to get a decent gummy, it was a 1 to 10. So you did 10 banjo sharks and Port Jacksons in a mix to one gummy.
Oh, I'm up to like 40 on that mark. I've done 3 trips on that one spot. I'm like, there has to be a gummy shark.
There was a day that I was solo fishing. It was a sunny day, midday tide change, maybe 15 or 16 to then get a feeder gummy. And I was at my wit's end. That poor gummy was coming home irrespective. And I rang Reedy on the way home and said, your theory's debunked, mate. Like, I've set a new record.
That's it.
It's a part of gummy fishing. You are in the right area if you're catching those.
Love Gary the cricketer.
Yep.
Don't like Gary the shark.
Definitely not. No. Gary's can leave my line alone. And that's why I don't fish salmon, because I just tend to catch gillas with salmon. However, if I go out fishing with Anthony, salmon must be on an end of a rod, and often he'll catch the big gummy on the salmon. Well, anyway, that covers us off for gummies and multi-fishing on these fantastic Shimano setups. As usual, like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching and for all of the support. We're really hoping that you're enjoying our new Tech Tackle series. Ben, thank you so much for being a part of the crew.
Pleasure.
Bringing all the filming gear and so forth from Mitcham Angling Club, the home of fishing. Give us your feedback, comment, share, tell us what you'd like to see. We have a whole lot more coming. Just for Average Fishers, over and out.